Welcome to Get Organized at Work. I'm your host, Kayla Fahey-Ahrndt, healthcare leader, mom of three, and your go-to guide for ditching the chaos and taking control of your workday. This is the show where we turn overwhelming to-do lists into clear, actionable plans so you can crush your goals and show up as your best self at work and in your life. Whether you're here for strategies to stay ahead or systems to simplify your workday, you're in the right place. Let's get organized, have some fun, and make this year your best year in your career yet. Let's dive in. Hello, my friends. Welcome back to Get Organized at Work podcast. I'm Kayla. I'm your host. And today's episode is a little bit extra today because today, if you're listening in real time on August 3rd, is my birthday. And I don't know about you, but birthdays are always, they make me more philosophical. They make me pause. And they're one of those rare moments when we look back just naturally before we pause to look forward. And I like to ask myself, what did I learn this year? What surprised me? And honestly, what do I understand now that I didn't get a year ago? I think I had one realization this year that completely changed how I think about my business and really about leadership itself. So for years, people have found me on YouTube because of OneNote. I was thinking back about this and I started creating OneNote tutorials in 2021. Yeah, after my second kiddo was born, I made a tutorial on YouTube. Again, while I was on maternity leave, it was something I was already using. And I just took a shot and I made a OneNote template video and it went viral. I had 80 something thousand views on it over the last, 5 years. And finally, in January, I recorded a OneNote Hub video that I felt like wasn't just like the iPad version of OneNote. It was a professional version that leaders and healthcare folks could use. And so, including you, all of you. And so, my biggest YouTube videos have been about OneNote. But over the past several months, what I realized, that's not actually what I teach. I don't actually teach OneNote. It was never really what I taught. When people tell me they love the ultimate OneNote Hub, they almost never say, "Oh, I love the tabs," or I love Microsoft. They definitely don't say, "Oh, I love OneNote." Instead, they say things like, "I finally know where everything is and I can manage multiple projects. I know exactly what I need to work on today and I can actually find my meeting notes." So they're describing something so much deeper. They're describing having clarity. And for me, that makes me happy because when you feel like you get what's going on and you're organized, you feel confident. They're describing confidence. They're describing what happens when your leadership systems become something that actually supports you instead of creating friction. So that's when it clicked. I don't teach software. I don't teach Microsoft. I teach leadership systems. OneNote just happens to be the tool that I use. As I kept working with leaders, I realized every leader, regardless of whatever industry they're in, needs 5 core systems, not 5 apps, 5 systems. So let's walk through them together. And as I'm describing these, I want you to notice which of them makes you think, yeah, that's me, because there's usually one. And these systems fit into what I love to call the leadership operating system. I'm going to talk about that more in the episode, but really they fit all together. Think of them as subcategories. The first one is task management. The first question I like to ask is, do you know your top priorities each day? Notice what I didn't ask. I didn't ask, do you have a to-do list? Almost everybody has a to-do list, right? That's not the problem. The question is, when you sit down on Monday morning, do you immediately know these are the 3 things that matter most today? Or do you spend 20 minutes or more recreating your brain and trying to find everything, opening Outlook, checking Teams, looking through sticky notes, trying to remember, wait, where was I at with that? If that sounds familiar, you don't have a motivation problem. You have a task management system that's creating friction. The second system is project management. The question is, do you always know the status of you or your team's projects? This isn't about Microsoft Planner or Asana or ClickUp. It's about confidence. If your leader walked into your office right now or Teams messaged you or jumped on a call with you and said, where are we at with that project and who is owning that project? Could you answer in 30 seconds or less? Would you think, well, I know that's written down somewhere and I know I'm kind of owning it, someone's kind of owning it. Project management isn't just keeping lists, it's reducing uncertainty, it's creating visibility, it's creating accountability and autonomy for that matter. The third system is information management. This one is one of my favorites. Can you quickly find meeting notes or other information you need fast? Think about how many conversations you have in a week, how many meetings, how many emails, how many decisions. The goal isn't to remember everything, although I know many of you have like a photographic memory. Even myself, I can think, oh, this is where I last saw that item. But the thing is, the goal is knowing exactly where to find it, not having to remember it. So if you've ever been in a meeting where someone says, did we already decide this? And you're thinking, yeah, I know, I wrote that down. Then you spend 5 minutes searching Teams, Outlook, OneNote, downloads, desktop. Information management isn't about storing information. It's about retrieving it easily when it matters. The fourth system is leadership management. And I think this is a question that surprises people. Do you know who and what needs your leadership attention? Because leadership isn't just managing projects, it's leading and managing people. Who needs encouragement? Who needs coaching? Who have you been meaning to check in with? Who's quietly struggling? Who deserves recognition? Leadership is one of those few jobs where the important work is rarely the urgent work. And without a system, those people can unintentionally become your last priority. And the fifth system is strategic planning. The question is probably my favorite. I know I said the other one was my favorite. Hey, I can have favorites. This question is, do you consistently pause to plan instead of only reacting? You might notice I didn't say step back to plan. I used to, but I changed it because stepping back almost sounds like I'm behind or I'm escaping or I'm trying to catch up. And that's not what I mean. I mean, pause, notice, reflect. Maybe it's 10 minutes on Friday afternoon, or maybe it's your weekly planning session. Maybe it's your monthly check in. The leaders I admire the most don't avoid chaos because they're lucky. They create little moments of pause before reacting. Planning isn't a luxury, it's how we reduce future chaos. A few weeks ago, you probably heard on the pod, I launched a free leadership operating system audit. It's only 5 questions, simple and quick. I've already had 26 leaders complete it, and here's what surprised me. Almost everyone landed right in the middle, 11 to 15 points. Not thriving, not drowning, just operating, working incredibly hard, showing up every day, doing great work. But 1 or 2 systems are quietly creating a lot of friction. And that's actually really encouraging because it means most leaders don't need a total life overhaul. Although maybe you think you do. I actually think you don't. They don't need 17 new productivity apps, and they don't need to wake up at 4:30 in the morning like culture might be telling you you need to. They usually just need one better system. One. This week, I also received another Ultimate OneNote Hub success story, and one response really struck me. When I asked what has improved the most, the answer was still refining my approach, but having easy visibility of important information is huge. Can I tell you why I love that? Because they didn't say, well, I'm done, or they didn't say, I'm perfectly organized. They said, I'm refining. And that's exactly how leadership works, continuous improvement. Another response said, I manage multiple projects simultaneously, and having quick oversight of key timelines and goals is great. Again, not software, not tabs, not notebooks, but clarity, confidence, and capacity. That's what people are actually buying. All right, this is a cool part. Over the last few weeks, I've completely redesigned my community. And honestly, as a leader, I was really thinking about how do people come into the community to onboard well, right? Because as a leader, we want to set up orientation and onboarding in a way that it makes a positive impact on the employee and helps set them up for success. So now it's a leadership journey. People don't just watch videos or consume, content or other freebies. They introduce themselves, take the Leadership Operating System Audit, understand their results, and then they choose one focus system to improve. Now they have a place to start. They build that one system and we practice together every week. And then 30 days later, they pause, reflect, and measure their progress. And they celebrate what's become easier and they choose their next system. When I laid it all out, I realized that's exactly how sustainable change happens. Awareness, choice, implementation, practice, reflection, growth, not perfection, growth. So, as a birthday reflection, if I could go back 1 year, there's something I tell myself. I'd say, Kayla, stop trying to teach people how to be perfectly organized. Teach them how to reduce friction, because that's really what organization is. It's not color coding or fancy planners or buying another notebook. Organization is removing little obstacles, pebbles in your shoe, even boulders sometimes, so your brain has more space for leadership, for creativity, for relationships, for strategy, for noticing. That's what this entire business for me has become about. And honestly, it makes me so happy, especially on my birthday. So here's the challenge for this week. Don't want you to spend time organizing your whole life or attempt to. I want you to ask yourself, which of the 5 questions made you a little bit uncomfortable? Was it task management, project management, information management, leadership management, strategic planning? Because here's what I've learned. That uncomfortable question is probably your next breakthrough. Not because you're failing, but because awareness is where proactive leadership begins. All right. Thank you very much for spending another year with me and for celebrating with me. Whether you've listened to one episode or you've been here from the very beginning, OG 2018 days, thank you for letting me be part of your leadership journey. It is such a privilege. And if you'd like to discover your own strongest and weakest leadership systems, I've linked my free Leadership Operating System Audit in the show notes. It takes less than 2 minutes and it will help you identify one system that's creating the most friction right now. And then I would love for you to come practice inside the community, help me refine my onboarding, right? My PDCA process improvement. Come see the community, see where you can learn about your results, download the hub, pick your one system, and practice with us for the next 30 days. Until next time, stay organized, lead with intention, and remember, you don't have to build all 5 systems today. You just need to build the next one. All right, take care. Happy birthday to anyone else whose birthday is out there. And I'll see you in the next episode.